Well, it is January 1st, 2025. We're going to do a little tapping to kick off the new year. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Wednesday with Gene. I am the eponymous Gene Monterastelli. Every single week, we spend a little time here on YouTube, just doing a little tapping live. You can join us now, join us after the fact. This time is presented by the Tapping Mastery Academy. And this weekend, I'm super excited. We're doing our first round of the Tapping Mastery Blueprint. If you would like to join us, if you just go to tappingqna.com/TMB, over the course of the weekend, we're actually doing it 3 times this month. This weekend is the first time that we're doing it. I am sharing the Tapping Mastery Blueprint, which is what I think are the essentials for you, not only to get the most out of your tapping, but to actually use the tapping on the regular. You can see the link here on the screen. It's also down in the description down below. So as we work our way through all of this today, we're going to do a little tapping to bring in the new year, to set us up to be successful. And as always, what we're going to do is we're just going to start with doing 90 seconds of wordless tapping. So what I want you to do is just take a nice big deep breath, start on the side of your hand, and just move from tapping point to tapping point in the order and the rhythm that makes the most sense for you. And as you tap, if insights come up, if tail enders come up, feel free to jot those down. We always want to tap with a pen and a piece of paper nearby. Just a nice big stretch and just move around. And again, you'll notice at the beginning of that, I said that pay attention to and jot down any insights, any tail enders. That is because whenever I sit down to tap, what I like to do is I don't like to just tap, but I also like to track the tapping that I am doing. I've actually created a free resource for you called the Tapping Tracker. What this does is it just leads you through the process that I use every single day to track my tapping, and I've actually updated it. So there are 2 versions of the Tapping Tracker that are waiting there for you if you want to try it out. There's a 30-day version and there is a 100-day version. And the reason why that there is a 100-day version is I have decided that I'm going to tap every single day for the first 100 days of the year. And in addition to doing that, I'm actually going to be doing it and sharing it on my Instagram. And so every single day, you're going to have a little encouragement to see me doing it along with you. I've actually already started. I put the first one up today. And so what I have been doing is I am jotting down in my notebook, because we should be jotting our stuff down in our notebook so we don't lose it, the insights as well as tail enders that have come up for me already. I spent some time this morning tapping on success as I step into the new year. So you can find all of that over on Instagram as we work on our way through 100 days of tapping. We'd love for you to join us, even if you're just going to do it for 7 days, even if you're just going to do it for 30 days, even if you're watching this after the fact and you're not joining us on the first of the year. I want you to have an opportunity to track this and tap along with us. So we're going to jump in and do a little tapping to set up the new year. Exciting exciting to see. Just taking a quick look over here in our chat box. We got folks from all over the world joining us this morning. We got folks in the UK, Montreal, Colorado, Virginia, Ireland, New York, Wyoming, Annapolis, Maryland, Denver, Colorado, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Delaware. We got folks in France, Sweden, just all of you folks who are joining us. I'm glad you're here with us today. So what we're going to do is we're just going to spend some time tapping to set up the new year. I got a number of things on here. We're going to take some requests from the chat box as well. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to spend a little time just letting go of and releasing the previous year. So tapping the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move from tapping point to tapping point. As we do this, repeat after me. If it feels comfortable and safe for you to do that out loud, I'd really encourage you to do that. I recognize the fact as 2024 comes to an end, there are many things that it is time for me to let go of. There are thoughts. There are beliefs. There are stories. There are frustrations. That it is time for me to let go. Some of these things actually served me last year. But just because they served me last year does not mean they serve me today. Just because they might have been useful in the past does not mean they are always useful. And so I give myself permission to put them down and to let them go. I give myself permission to know if I need any of those things in the future. I can pick them up again. I also recognize that I have picked up stories and beliefs and responsibilities that were given to me by other people. And just because someone gave it to me does not mean it is useful. Or it is necessary. Just because someone handed me something doesn't mean I'm required to hold on to it. I give myself permission to release and let go of the stories that no longer serve me, the fears that no longer serve me, the actions that no longer serve me. And I don't have to explain myself to myself or explain myself to anyone else as I release and let go of all of these things that do not serve me. It is safe for me to let them go. I am allowed to let them go. I am worthy of letting them go. And I am deserving of letting them go. Nice big deep breath. Big stretch. And if you have some water nearby, feel free to grab a sip. Really useful for us to be drinking while we're tapping. And now what I'd like you to do, and like I said, tracking insights is so important for me, and we're going to talk about a little bit what we do with those before we're done today. So as we tapped our way through that, what was one phrase that really resonated deeply with you? And what I want you to do is I want you to take that one phrase. If there was one that really resonated with you, I want you to go to the chat box and I just want you to type in what that phrase was, and then I want you to write it down. For me, the phrase that really resonated with me is, I don't have to explain myself to myself. Sometimes I feel I need to justify things even to myself, but sometimes the choice is right and I can just do that. So go ahead, jot one of your insights down. And if you're anything like me, take your time to write it down so it's actually readable, so it's useful later. So what were some of the insights that came bubbling up? Drop those into the chat box. Because again, before we're done, we're going to use all of those little insights as there's something that's really, really useful for us to gather as we navigate our way through this. I'm just going to tap a little bit wordlessly as you're typing some of those in. And if you don't have anything to type in, just feel free to tap along with me wordlessly. Oh, these are great. I'm allowed to let things go. Let's see, we've got some of this stuff here. I'm allowed to let go. I don't need to explain. I'm deserving of letting go of things that no longer serve me. I don't have to explain myself to anyone else. I can let go of this because other person's success is not my responsibility. I love that insight. Let go of what no longer serves me. I deserve to let go. I'm allowed to let go. Just because someone has handed me a story doesn't mean I have to carry it. Awesome. Keep typing those in. Before we're done, we're going to use a whole bunch of these in lots of really, really, really fun ways. So keep dropping stuff in as they come bubbling up. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to spend a little time tapping on feeding our hopes and our dreams. One of my favorite mealtime prayers before I eat to say is, have this food nourish my hopes and dreams and not nourish any of my fears. And so it's one thing for us to recognize that we have these. It's another thing for us to step into a circumstance where we actually pour energy and insight and allow ourselves to do that. So tap on the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath, and just move from point to point. As I step into the future, especially thinking about this, at the dawn of a new year, I give myself permission to have hopes and dreams. I give myself permission to know that I'm allowed to have hopes and dreams. And not only am I allowed to have hopes and dreams, I am allowed to nurture them. I am allowed to feed them. I am allowed to encourage them. At this moment, it feels as if some of my hopes and dreams are just a spark, are just an ember. And I give myself permission to allow these to grow. Into a fire. I give myself permission to give this spark the fuel it needs to grow. The oxygen it needs to grow. The space it needs to grow. And I recognize there is a part of me that is a little afraid of this dream. What will it mean for me? What will it mean for my relationships? What will it mean for my identity? There's a part of me that just wants to stay the same. There's a part of me that wants to stay stuck. Because my subconscious mind believes that consistency and predictability is safe. But the reality is, I am always changing. I am always growing. I am always evolving. And so I give myself permission to grow in the direction of my hopes, of my dreams. I want everything that I do today to feed my hopes and dreams. I give myself permission to allow this to happen. In conscious, unconscious, and subconscious ways. At the exact same time, everything I do today will not nourish or feed my fears. Every breath I take nourishes my hopes. Every move I make nourishes my dreams. Every thought I have nourishes my hopes. Every bit of intuition I hear nourishes my dreams. I give myself permission to know it is safe to feed my dreams, to know I'm allowed to nourish my hopes, to know I am worthy of growing my dreams, to know I am deserving of naming and claiming my dreams. Nice big deep breath. Give it a little shake. Again, have another sip of water. Again, what was something that came up? What was a phrase? Either something that we tapped along to or something that came bubbling up inside of you that was an insight that you need to hear again. Drop it into the chat box. Like I said, we're going to use those in a moment. Write those down so that we don't lose those. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I am worthy of nourishing my dreams. And again, don't be in so much of a rush that you can't write the things down. And I'm just going to tap here wordlessly as you're making some notes. If you want to tap along with me or if you want to write, drop some of the stuff into the chat box. We can see what those insights are from y'all. Let's see what some of the stuff that's coming to bubble in here. I am worthy of growing my dreams. I give myself permission to have hopes and dreams. Weird that I was very uncomfortable with the notion of wanting to stay stuck. Yeah, that's good that you're uncomfortable with that. I am worthy. That's enough for us to tune into that particular piece of it. Keep dropping those in there. There is an evolution calling. I trust my intuition. I give myself permission to let this happen in subconscious, unconscious, and conscious ways. I am allowed to have hopes and dreams. Keep dropping those into the chat box. We're going to use those at the end in a really fun way. Awesomeness. So keep jotting those things down. Keep moving to that. And what we're going to do is now what we're going to do is we're going to tap for a little courage. Because it's one thing to intellectually know that I want something different. It's another thing to actually feel the courage to do that. Tap on the side of the hand. Nice big deep breath. And just move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact the hopes and dreams that I have for myself and for the world there is a part of me that recognizes that my hopes and dreams mean I'm going to stretch, mean I'm going to grow, and stretching and growing is scary because stretching and growing means doing things that are new. Means doing things differently. Means doing things in a new context. Which is scary. And I give myself permission to know it is okay that it's a little scary. It's okay, it's a little overwhelming. It's okay that I don't exactly know how to do this. And so I give myself permission to access the resource of courage. In big and small ways. And I recognize the fact that being courageous does not mean I'm going to be thoughtless. Being courageous does not mean I'm going to be reckless. Being courageous does not mean I have to be courageous all the time. Be courageous in every moment. Be courageous for everyone. I give myself permission, especially as I move into the new year, to be easy with myself as I embrace my natural sense of courage. I give myself permission to be open to the courage that is inside of me, even if that's a small voice, even if it's a quiet voice. I am allowed to be courageous. I give myself permission to know it is safe to tune into my courage. I am allowed to be courageous. I am worthy of being courageous. I deserve to be courageous. I cultivate the courage inside of me. I nourish the courage inside of me. I embrace the courage inside of me. I appreciate the courage inside of me. I am allowed to embrace my courage. Nice big deep breath. Big stretch. Again, if you need to sip a little water, do that. And as you think back to that, what was a phrase or two, another insight? What was something that resonated with you that you need to hear again? Maybe it was a phrase that we said. Maybe it was something that just bubbled up inside of you as you heard it. Something that's really valuable for you to hear inside of that. I heard for me that I'm allowed to have courage. And I'm not even sure why that resonated today. But for whatever reason, that just was something that I need to hear again. That's why I'm writing it down, because I don't want to lose that idea, because we're going to tap on that. And if you want to jot something down, if you want to put something in the chat box, go ahead. If not, just wordlessly tap with me while folks are sharing. Let's see what some of the things that are already popping up. It is safe to be courageous. I deserve to be courageous. I embrace courage inside of me. I can be easy with myself. Courageous is not reckless or thoughtless. Silent courage. Ooh, I love that phrase. To be easy with myself. Awesome. Keep dropping them in here. We're going to grab those in just a minute. Nice big stretch again. Feel free to write something down, add it to our chat box here. Last thing I want to do in this little section, because we're going to do some more tapping here in a moment, is I want to spend a little time on this idea of being gentle with ourselves. And of all of the phrases that I have my clients tap on, being gentle with themselves is the phrase that my clients resist the most. And the reason why they resist this particular phrase is because there's a part of us that believes that if I'm being gentle with myself, I'm giving myself a pass. So I'm being gentle with myself. I'm not holding myself to account. And oftentimes, whenever we're like resetting ourselves at the turn of a new year, at a birthday, at some spiritual holiday, that it's a time for us to reflect and look forward, we do it in a way where I have dreams and I have courage and I'm going to do all of this. and then we expect perfection of ourselves. And so we've been setting the table to step into the new year with hopes and courage and nourishing those things. But I also want to do it in the context of recognizing our humanity. Being gentle with myself is not giving myself a pass. Being gentle with myself is recognizing that I'm human, that I am imperfect, that sometimes I don't follow through, that sometimes my intentions are so big that it's impossible. Sometimes fear wins. And that's just because I'm human, and that's okay. And so tapping on being gentle with myself is not giving myself a pass. Tapping on being gentle with myself is recognizing my context and who I am. And so I think there's nothing more valuable that we can do at a turning point. In this case, it's a new year, to do exactly that. So tap on the side of the hand. Take a nice big deep breath for me. And just feel your body. Just really be present. A nice big deep breath. And just move from tapping point to tapping point. I recognize the fact I am imperfect. I recognize the fact, even with grand designs and big hopes, and even with perfect plans, I am going to make mistakes. I give myself permission. As I embrace a new year with hopes and dreams, that I am allowed to embrace and acknowledge my humanity. And I give myself permission to be gentle with myself and my humanity. And this does not mean I don't have standards. This does not mean I am letting go of responsibility. Instead, what this means is that I recognize I am imperfect. And it is okay for me to be imperfect. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself, knowing that being gentle with myself means that I see myself fully, means that I see my context, means that I see what I am engaging with. Being gentle with my imperfection does not mean I'm static. Being gentle with my brokenness does not mean I am avoiding healing. Being gentle with myself is simply an acknowledgement, an honest acknowledgement of where I am in this moment. When I honestly assess where I am with compassion and charity, it makes healing possible. It makes change possible. It makes transformation possible. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself. It is safe for me to be gentle with myself. I am allowed to be gentle with myself. It is safe for me to be gentle with myself. I am allowed to be gentle with myself. I am worthy of being gentle with myself. And I deserve to be gentle with myself. Nice big deep breath. And just sit in that for a moment. One of the words that I used in there really specifically was to offer charity towards myself. And I get that from my friend Brad. Not Brad Yates, Brad Farmer, another friend of mine. I have lots of Brads who are friends. And whenever I'm beating myself up, he'll just turn to me and go, Gene, you're not being very charitable with yourself. And it's interesting that being kind with myself, you're not being kind with yourself. It's like, well, I don't need to be kind with myself. I made this mistake. But being charitable, like extending that to myself transforms the way I think about that. So once again, what I want you to do is I want you to go through the tapping that we just did right there. Take an insight that came up, put it into the chat box, write it down. For me, I'm going to take that idea of being charitable with myself. I am worthy of being charitable with myself. And again, write it in a way so you can read it later, so you can tap on it. Again, if you want to write something down, if you want to drop something in the chat box, go ahead. If not, you can just wordlessly tap with me as folks are sharing their insight. And again, grab some water if you need it. Oh, some really beautiful insights are showing up there. I'm loving the things that are resonating. Give myself permission to be easy with myself. I deserve to be gentle with myself. When I honestly assess myself with compassion and charity, healing is possible. Permission to be gentle with myself. It's safe to be gentle with myself. Being gentle is not giving myself a pass. When I embrace where I am, it makes healing possible. Stop beating myself up. Preach. I am allowed to be gentle with myself. Awesome. Keep dropping those in there. Keep letting us know what is there. So it's another round of tapping that I want to do with you, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with all of these insights. Before we do that, I just want to share some resources with you. Number one, I would love if you joined us for the Tapping Mastery Blueprint. I'm running the training 3 times this month. If you can't join us live, you can be in a circumstance where you can watch the video version. We're building this really awesome workbook with reflection questions and all of that sort of stuff. You can find more details by going to tappingqna.com/TMB, Tapping Mastery Blueprint. Also, as you're watching this, down below in the description of this, all of these links are there. Number 2, download the tapping tracker. Give yourself permission, commit to tap with us this year. Like I said, I am in a circumstance where I'm going to be tapping every single day for the first 100 days. And as we do this, I'm going to be in a circumstance where I'm going to be sharing my insight and what's going on. it's just a little way to encourage you. If you want to drop into the comments and talk about what you're tapping on as we navigate all of that, I would love for you to join us as we do that. Again, if you want to download the tapping tracker, there's 2 versions of it waiting there for you. There's a 30-day version, there's a 100-day version, but you can also use it for 7 days. You can use it for 4 days. You don't have to do it every single day in a row, but it just creates a structure that makes it easier for you to do all of that. Tapping Q&A podcast. We got hundreds of hours waiting for you, tappingpodcast.com. Also, as I look at the clock right now as we're doing this live, it is 11:45 Eastern time. At 4 p.m. Eastern, at 1 p.m. Pacific, our buddy Brad Yates is going to be doing some tapping to tap in the new year. So if you want to do some tapping to tap in the new year, if you go to tapwithbrad.com/success-2025, again, all 4 of these links are down below in the description, so you can click on those and take it to that. So what I want to do now is I want to talk a little bit about insights and what we just did there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little look at the insight tracking that we have done. One of my favorite things to do when I'm tapping is to tap to those insights again. Over my shoulder, and I'm going to make it a little easier for you to see. So look over here over my shoulder. I have a little bitty vase there. It was actually handmade by the stand-up comedian and writer Eliza Skinner. You can find her at Booberry Jones on Etsy. And so what I do when we do these sessions, like I said, is I write down my insights, but I also grab the insights from all of you in the chat box, and I write them down, and I'm putting them inside of our little bitty guy. So in the future, what we can do is we can come back and we can tap along to all of those. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over here to our little chat box. I'm going to zip back up to the top where we started. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take some of these phrases and we're just going to tap along with them. So just tap with me, side of the hand, nice big deep breath, and just move from point to point. I can let go of things because this other person's success is not my responsibility. I give myself permission to let go of what no longer serves me. I deserve to let go. I am allowed to let go. Just because someone handed me a story doesn't mean I have to carry it. Letting go of what doesn't serve me is very, very possible. I give myself permission to not need the permission of others. I can let go of responsibilities that aren't mine. I don't have to store other people's garbage, neither their stuff or their energy. I let go of anything that doesn't feel like love. I am worthy of growing my dreams. I give myself permission to have hopes and dreams. I am worthy. I'm worthy of nourishing my dreams. I can trust my intuition. There is evolution calling. I give myself permission to allow transformation. to happen in unconscious, subconscious, and conscious ways. I'm allowed to have hopes and dreams. It is okay to choose safety. I let every bit of my intuition nourish my dreams. I deserve to be courageous. It is safe to be courageous. I've never done this before, so it's okay to be scared. I embrace the courage inside of me. Being courageous does not mean that I am thoughtless. I give myself permission. And I allow myself with self-worth to accept and embrace the courage to have a successful business, and to be me because I deserve it. Oh, that's so beautiful. I don't have to hang on to other people's beliefs. I cultivate the courage inside of me. I recognize it's scary to be in a new context, outside of my comfort zone. And it's okay for me to be scared. When I honestly assess myself with compassion and charity, healing is possible. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself. It's safe to be gentle with myself. Compassion makes change possible. It is safe, and I'm allowed to stop beating myself up. It is safe to fuel my dreams. It is safe to be gentle with myself. Nice big deep breath. That's the reason why we capture our insights. I do this all the time. I write them down in my notebook. Every single day, I write down the insights that are there. Every week or so, I go back and I read my insights out loud. I tap along to them. When we're done with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of the insights out of that particular chat box. And like I said, what we're going to do then is I'm going to take all of those insights and they're going to keep landing in our little vase guy over there. So at some point in the future, what we're going to do is I'm going to dump all of those out, and then we as a community are going to spend a little time tapping along to all of that. Once again, all the things that we talked about today can be found down below in the description. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We put up videos all the time, the podcast, the tap-alongs. We do these lives every single Wednesday. Turn on the notifications. If you give this video a little thumbs up down below, it'll teach YouTube that this sort of stuff is valuable, so more people can find it. The plan going into the new year, except when I am traveling every single Wednesday, what we're going to do is we're going to be here. We're going to do some tapping. Next week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about approaching physical health tapping, but on a cellular level. Instead of thinking about issues and coughs and sneezes and aches and pains, I had a number of really interesting experiences in December. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to share a whole bunch of those with you as we play with those things. If you're joining us after the fact, I'm super glad that if you did it. If not, we're going to be back here every single Wednesday. And if you're watching this after the fact, what you'll see in just a moment on the screen is a playlist for all of the things. Thanks for hanging out and tapping with me. Thanks for spending a little bit of your new year with me. And I will see you guys real soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.